Hey, what's up you guys? It's Ari. Welcome back or welcome to my channel if you are new. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. I hope you enjoy it. Also, I bleached the roots of my hair, but I haven't put dye on them yet. So we're just pretending that I'm a natural blonde because I think I would look so cute blonde. But anyway, ignore my roots. I'm in the middle of dyeing my hair. Okay, so actually a little while ago I did a question sticker on my Instagram, and I asked my Twitter followers what they wanted to know about Tourette's, because if you didn't know, I have Tourette's. So I thought I would do a why can't I not talk? I thought I would do a Tourette's Q&A video for you guys, answering the questions that y'all asked me. And there's not a lot, there's not too many because I had a lot less followers and subscribers back then, but I'm gonna fill in the gaps with just like really commonly asked questions about Tourette's. And yeah, also the lighting's weird in this video. That's because I just moved into this apartment and I haven't figured out lighting yet, and I'm just using a ring light against a wall. But this is my sticker wall. Anyways, let's get straight into the questions. Okay, so first one is, what prejudices have you heard about Tourette's? That's an interesting question. I don't really think about it that often. I guess just the stereotype that like we all yell swear words and like yell inappropriate things, because I mean I have done that before, but like commonly I don't swear as a part of my tics. That is called, I believe that one's called cochlearia. There's different names for different types of tics, and so swearing and inappropriate tics, that is there's like a certain name for that, and only about 10% of people with Tourette's actually have that. So most of us don't yell inappropriate things. It's an annoying stereotype, but also like, I guess it's not a stereotype, but people tend to think that people with Tourette's mean what they say, or that they're doing it on purpose. It's like you can't control it. That's the whole point of the disorder, is that you can't control it. So that's another annoying one, because like my friends know that I don't mean things that I say when I have tics, but I don't know, I think people just think that we're these people who just want to cause trouble and yell the F word, but we're not. Is there anything that you can't do because of your tics? I usually can't wear a cloth mask. I have to wear the paper, like the blue paper ones, because I have a whistle tic, but when I whistle I breathe in. And so the paper masks, I breathe through the mask. And then if it's like a really well-made one with like fabric one with like heavy fabric in it, the ones that I use that are my boyfriend's, they even have little metal in the nose, like so that you can clamp it onto your nose. So those are really like thick and sturdy, so when I breathe in it doesn't suck the mask. But if I'm wearing just a normal cheap cloth mask and I go, then it'll like go in my mouth. So I can wear a mask though, and I do wear a mask, but I can't wear the normal cloth ones without pain and suffering. Other than that, there's not that much I can't do. I can drive, I can have a job, all of those things. So mostly it's just wearing a specific type of mask that I can't do. Have you ever gotten into trouble because of your Tourette's? Yes, I have. I have had tics since I was really little, actually. I don't remember when they started, but like as long as I can remember, I guess. I've had them, I've been aware of them. One of my first tics was going it probably looked like I had asthma. That was when I was really little, and then I also remember at the same time I had that one, then I had, and I remember being so confused as to what was happening to me. And then when I was in, it was either 2nd or 4th grade, it was 2nd grade, I had a tic where I would go, so it wasn't like an eye rolling tic, it was like I would look up and then over and around, and then I would close my eyes, I would go, and so my babysitter, who was also my cousin, got really mad at me. This happened with multiple babysitters, I think, or maybe I'm making that up, but got really mad at me because I kept rolling my eyes at everything she said, and I was like, I'm not rolling my eyes, I have a tic. And she was like, that's not real, you're lying. And I was like, because at that point my mom had said, what are you doing? And I was like, I don't know, I can't control it. And the doctor was like, oh, it's probably just a tic. And so I knew it was called a tic. I didn't know what that meant, but I knew that I couldn't control it and that it was a tic, and so I'd be like, it's a tic, it's a tic. And the babysitters did not believe me, but I was not a rude child. I would not roll my eyes at my babysitter. And then also at parent-teacher conference in 2nd grade, my teacher was like, Ari is like great in class, and like I was on like a 10th grade reading level or something when I was in 2nd grade, and I was just like, I always had we didn't do letter grades, we did number grades, and a 4 was the highest. Like I always had all 4s. She was like, but Ari does tend to roll her eyes a lot in class. and other students. And I didn't even know I was doing it because it just happened. And my mom was like, oh, Ari can't control that. Ari can't control that. That's a tic. And I was like, thank you. Someone believes me, because the teacher believed her and was like, oh, okay. And I was like, thank you for believing me. I'm so sorry. I can't help it. Did you try to rationalize your tics as being caused by something else? If so, what had to happen before you or people around you realized it was Tourette's? Okay, how I found out I have Tourette's is actually a funny story. It's not funny. I'm mad about it, but whatever. I'm realizing the camera's like a little bit crooked. Ignore that. So like I said, I knew that they were tics growing up, but I started experiencing these, I don't know. But when I was little, it was like with the like and the like the breathing one, it wasn't like it would just happen. It was like I had a feeling like you need to go right now. But it was a physical feeling. It wasn't like an OCD thought. It was a physical feeling of you need to do this right now. And so I would, to make the feeling go away. And so with tics, after that, those kind of went away. And then the eye rolling thing, that wasn't a feeling. It would just happen. Like I couldn't control it. And now I kind of have a mix of the two. Like sometimes tics just happen and I'm like, oh, I ticked, whatever. Or sometimes it's a feeling building up. And eventually it will happen. Like if I try to hold it in, it'll likely just happen anyway because it's a tic. But I can sometimes, like, I do it before it forces itself just because I can feel it and I want to get the feeling out, like, oh, I need to do this with my hand. And if I would try to not do that, eventually my hand would just do it. But if I can feel it coming, I'll just do it to get the feeling out. And like normally that'll satisfy the tic. Sometimes I have to like wait and for my body to do it without me trying. I don't know why. I hope that made sense. But yeah, basically sometimes I can feel a tic coming and like expect it, and other times it just happens. So when I started like experiencing the tics where I could feel them coming, I also had been diagnosed with OCD at that point. And so I thought a lot of my tics were like OCD things because it was like, oh, you have to do this with your fingers. And so I wasn't able to understand the difference between like a physical feeling of needing to do that and a mental feeling of needing to do something, as far as like OCD with compulsion. Sometimes I still get the two confused, but normally if I really think hard about it, I can say, is this OCD or am I ticking right now? Because it's the same thing, like you get a feeling you need to do this and so then you do it. But what led up to me finding out that I had Tourette's? So like I said, tics my whole life as long as I can remember, but just little things, not big things. And my Tourette's actually got way more developed after I found out that I had Tourette's. So I'm glad that I found out actually, because I would be like so confused if I didn't. But basically what happened was I was 14 years old and my mental health was all over the place. I have a mental health playlist where I talk about that, and I do Q&As about living in a mental hospital or living in a long-term treatment facility. I have all sorts of Q&As and different videos about stuff like that, eating disorder recovery. I'll link that. I'll put it on the screen probably while I'm talking, and in the description if you don't want to click on it now, in the description for after you watch this video. But anyways, my mental health was doing really bad, and so my parents decided to take me. I have no idea where this place was. It was in Salt Lake City, and we drove down there, and it was like a 2-day thing, but like I was only there, I don't remember. Like it was like in an office building, but a weird office building. It was like abandoned. It was so creepy. I'm getting way off track, sorry. I'm just trying to paint a picture. So we went there and like my parents talked to this lady, and then I talked to this lady, and then she like made me draw stuff and like do this thing on the computer where I like press the space bar when the number was on the screen. I don't know. But apparently it was a 2-day like psychiatric evaluation thing where they went through with my parents my entire life, basically. They talked for hours and I just sat there being bored, and they went through my entire life from before I was even born, from when I was in my mom's stomach, everything that happened, and then all the way, not like everything that happened while I was in my mom's stomach, but you know what I mean, like because I was born early too. I was born premature, so things were going wrong in her stomach. But they went all the way from there until I was born. How was I as a baby? What was I like as a toddler? What was I like when I was 3, 4, 5, 6? What happened all those years? Like, just a ton of crazy stuff. And then I guess they did like psychology tests, psychiatric. They did tests with me, and then they also interviewed me for a few hours too about my life and about everything. And so at the end, they gave us like a 90-page packet with the results of every single thing that they did and a full report about my life. And then at the end, it had my diagnoses on it, or possible diagnoses. So my parents did not allow me to read the packet. But eventually, a few years later, I was like, can I please read the freaking packet? And they were like, sure, and they gave it to me. And I think I was just looking for my autism diagnosis. I should do an autism Q&A too, but I was looking for my autism diagnosis, and so I went through the packet, I found it, and then I didn't look at the packet again. So then, right at the beginning of COVID, I worked at a smoothie place, and my manager, may she burn in hell. I should not say that. I'm sorry. I'm actually not sorry to... I'm not sorry to my manager, my ex-manager, but I am sorry to everyone who was watching for my language. The company I worked for was doing free smoothies for healthcare workers, and so my mom knows someone who's a nurse, and she was working in the COVID ICU. And so we brought like 20 something smoothies to them for free, like just as a gift, I guess. And because I was out of school and it was at like 10 a.m., I got to drive with my manager to go up to the hospital, and then my mom came because it was her friend and she wanted to like say hi. And we're talking, I'm joking with Kristen and telling my mom about how my tics had been getting bad at work. They had been getting way worse. And I was like, sometimes I wonder if I have Tourette's. And my mom was driving and she like looked back at me and was like, you do have Tourette's. And I was like, what do you mean I have Tourette's? And she goes, yeah, you have Tourette's. And I was like, but who told you that? And she was like, when you were 14 and we did that whole 2-day thing, you got diagnosed with Tourette's. And I was like, really? You didn't tell me this? I was 17, 3 years of my life that my mother knew that I had Tourette's, and she didn't even tell me. But anyway, we go home and I'm like, where's that packet? I look in the packet, and the very last sentence of the 90-page packet that I didn't read, because I had already found what I needed to find, the very last sentence says, Ari has Tourette syndrome. And I was like, I didn't know that. This Q&A is so much rambling. I'm so sorry. Does stress make it worse? What strategies do you have for coping with it, and how is it perceived by other people? Other people, I think that they look at me like I am special needs or something, which I'm autistic, like I said, so like they're not wrong. But I don't know, not in like in kind of, not a demeaning way, but like, I don't know, the looks you get from people is like, oh, that person's different, that person's special. And I'm like, well, I am, but you don't need to look at me like that. Like, bye, it's not affecting you. And yes, stress does make it worse. That's probably one of the reasons it was getting so bad at that job with my terrible manager. There was also like when I was homeless, which I haven't really talked about that much on this channel, but I briefly talked about it in one video. It's over here, this video. I'll link it in the description. During that time of my life, my tics were worse than they had ever been. I was ticking like full sentences, and I kept hitting myself, which was annoying. I haven't hit myself because of a tic in like months, and I'm glad, because sometimes it freaking hurts. But yeah, my tics were really bad during that stage, and I also, because I was really stressed, and I also wasn't sleeping well because I was stressed, and so I was tired and stressed, and that made my tics really bad, which can be really funny. Like, tics can be really funny, especially when you're ticking out whole sentences that you don't have control of what you're saying and you're just saying random things. Like, it's funny, but it also like will give, if you have a tic attack for like an hour or two, you're gonna have a headache, your muscles are gonna be tired. Like, it's not fun, but it is fun, but it's not. As far as strategies for coping, if they're getting really bad that it's disrupting my life, like for example, one job I had, it was food service and there was a lot of scoops, and I kept dropping scoops into the whatever the scoop was in, because I have a tic where I go like this with my hand, and I drop my phone a lot. I'll be looking at it and I'll go like that. So if it gets really bad like that and it's interfering with my daily life, then I just drink less caffeine and get more sleep and try to eat more. How does it impact public speaking? Is it different when having more personal or emotional conversations? So it actually did not affect my public speaking at all. If you guys don't know, if you're new to the channel, like a lot of you are, I was a climate and environmental activist, I don't know what I am anymore, but I gave a lot of speeches at big events and small events and cool events and chill events, and it was really cool actually, and I really enjoyed it, even though it gave me a panic attack every time. But all my speeches are up on my channel if you want to see me give speeches in front of people. But as far as like vocal tics, I didn't ever tic during public speaking. One thing with Tourette's is if you're focused, normally your tics will go down. So I was focused on giving my speech and reading my speech and like using my inflection correctly and things, because I'm autistic and I struggle with that. And so I was pretty focused enough that I wasn't like whistling or like saying words during my speeches. Though when I do get focused, my facial tics get more pronounced, and sometimes my hand tics, like where I just move my hands like that. And so if I rewatch them, you can probably see my face ticking. My biggest face tic is going like that. So maybe because I was like stressed and anxious, my face might have been ticking, but as far as like vocally, it never impacted any of my speeches, which is ironic actually, because I have echolalia, which can exist outside of Tourette's, but within Tourette's it's where you repeat either like a word or a phrase that someone else says, or it's where you can repeat syllables as a part of echolalia, and it makes you stutter. So instead of like echolalia can be separately where someone says like balloons and you're like balloons and it's a tic, it's like someone trying to say balloons and then you get stuck on loo and you go balloons. So I do stutter sometimes because of my Tourette's, but it never happened during my speeches as far as I know. It might have happened a few times, but that was probably just because I was nervous. Oh, and then is it different when having more personal or emotional conversations? Normally during those times I'm pretty focused and pretty, like if I'm having a deep emotional like important conversation with someone, I'm normally my whole brain is like attached to that conversation, so I don't think that I usually tic during those times because I'm very focused, because emotional conversations really scare me. So I don't think there's much room for my brain to start doing other things. Does it take extra time to make videos to edit out the tics you don't want to show? I used to edit out all my tics, and then I was like, you know what, screw it, because I started having tic attacks on camera, and I would just show them and like put a caption to be like, I have Tourette's and this was a tic attack. And people actually started commenting about it, like just on random videos. They'd be like, it's so cool how you included your tic attack. Or they'll say like, hey, I have Tourette's too, or hey, like I have a question about your tics and about Tourette's. So I was like, okay, cool. So now usually if it's like a little tic that doesn't add anything to the video that's like interesting or entertaining, and it's just like a random sound while I'm looking at my phone or something, I'll just edit it out. But if I have like a tic attack, or if it's a funny tic, then I'll include it and I'll just put a thing that says like, this is a tic, I have Tourette's. So it's better now, it's easier now, because I don't have to edit out every single little thing, because apparently people think that it's cool and they have questions about it, and I like answering questions, which is why I'm doing this video. How do you gain and lose new and old tics? That's a good question. So most tics for me, like physical tics, I didn't gain it from anyone. My body just makes movements. But with mouth tics, vocal tics, you can gain and lose new ones. You gain and lose tics, it just happens naturally. Without anything affecting it. But things that do affect it are, for example, a lot of people have tics of vines. I'm in my mom's car, like that one. I've heard people with Tourette's that say vroom vroom, I'm in my mom's car, vroom vroom, as a tic. So a lot of like popular phrases or just popular things or memes will become tics just because it's so ingrained in your head, and then your head is like, what random thing should we say? And they're like, oh, I'm in my mom's car. And so a lot of like vines, TikTok sounds, stuff like that. There's also, you can get tics, well, I don't know if it would be called catching tics, but you can catch tics from other people, and other people's tics can also trigger your tics. So if you're in public and someone is ticking, it can trigger your tics. And so you can gain tics from other people, whether they have Tourette's or not. There is a lot of people that have the tic beetroot, because that trippy hippie started getting a really big platform about, what are their pronouns? About their Tourette's. And so one of their most famous tics is a beetroot. And so then people with Tourette's who watch Tourette's content start saying a beetroot. So there's tics like that that kind of go around, I guess. There's other common ones that I think are just because they're common words, like no, like a tic that says no. People have lots of tics like that. Lots of people have tics that are like little like squeals. You can also catch a tic from someone who doesn't have Tourette's. People can give you new tics. So my friend Danica, when I worked at that place and my tics were getting worse, one time someone turned on Big Time Rush, and then for the rest of the day I kept ticking and we all wore headsets so everyone could hear me, and so she, whenever I was ticking, like during work, she would just go on the headset and go so then my Tourette's would be like, hey, and then yeah, then I had a Big Time Rush tic for a while after I quit that job. Okay, so I was gonna add in extra questions, like just commonly asked questions, because I didn't think I had enough to fill the video, but I've been talking for 20 minutes and a lot of it was me just talking about random things and not Tourette's, I feel like. So thanks for sticking with me till the end. Further, thank you for watching until the end. That's all the questions I'm gonna do in this video, but this was really fun, and I would actually love to do another video about Tourette's. So if you have any more questions, please comment them down below. And the ones from YouTube, I will read your username off unless you don't want me to. Put that in the comment. But I didn't read these usernames because I didn't ask them if I could. But if you want to be featured in another video, comment any questions that you have about Tourette's. Nothing is too personal. Whatever you want to know. Don't worry about being, I mean, don't like be offensive in the comments, but like don't worry if you're gonna like come off as rude or anything. Go ahead and just ask, and I will assume that you're not being rude and that you're just curious. So yeah, hopefully a part 2 will be uploaded soon at some point. I'll also ask over on my Instagram, so if you're following me there, just wait for my question sticker or put it in the comments. Either one. But yes, that's all the questions I have for today. Can't wait to make part 2. I really appreciate you guys watching this video. I hope you like my sticker wall. Kind of looks like I'm wearing like a onesie. This isn't a onesie, this is a sweatshirt. But anyways, I'm so hyper and distracted today. Y'all don't even know. Also, hi, I changed my pronouns, so like if you want to use like they or he pronouns for me, like I would appreciate it, because I'm having a gender identity crisis just like I did when I was 13 and 14 and 15 and ever since then. But anyways, I thought I would add that in there because like how else are you gonna know? No one reads the entire description. That would be a waste of time. Wait, then why do I fill out the entire description? Okay, I've been talking for like 5 minutes trying to do an outro. I love you guys. Like the video if you liked the video, so that way I know that you liked the video and I can make more videos that you like. And if you want to subscribe, that would be epic. I'd appreciate that. Trying to make it to 2K by the end of the year. And also the biggest thing that helps my channel, other than, you know, commenting, subscribing, the biggest thing is watching another one of my videos, because I have enough subscribers to start making money off YouTube, start making my dream job a reality, but I don't have enough watch hours. So if you want to watch one more video, that would like boost my watch time, and then I could make money, and I just, you know, then I could just like afford groceries. I'm not trying to like get pity. It was just a joke because like I'm poor, you know? I do work full time. I'm not just sitting in my apartment making YouTube videos all day and making no money. I work full time. Why am I defending myself on the internet? Okay, I'm gonna outro the video for real now. I already said everything important, so make sure that you drink water and you eat food and that you tell the people you love that you love them. I don't have an outro, so I just say a bunch of things I think that might be a good outro, and then one day hopefully I'll get one. And love stickers. I should just make merch that says love stickers. Oh yeah, merch is out. Link in the description if you want merch. Okay, I love you homies. Peace out. Bye.